The Empire had ruled the Andromeda sector for 10,000 years, their ships numbered in the millions. Their armies had conquered 400 worlds. They had never lost a war. They had never known fear. That changed the day they attacked Outpost 7. Outpost 7 was a small human colony on the edge of known space. It sat on a frozen moon called Theta 9, home to just 3,000 humans. They were miners, scientists, and families who had traveled far from Earth to build a new life. They had no warships. They had no army. They had only their homes, their dreams, and their children. Commander of the fleet looked at the tiny outpost on his screen and laughed. His intelligence officers had told him that humans were a young species. They had only discovered faster-than-light travel 200 years ago. They were weak, soft, and emotional. They would make excellent slaves. Gave the order to attack without warning. His fleet of 50 warships descended on Outpost 7 like hungry wolves. The humans had no time to evacuate. They had no time to surrender. The bombardment lasted 6 hours. When it ended, nothing remained but smoke and ashes. 3,000 humans died that day. Men, women, and children burned in their homes. The youngest victim was a baby girl named Sarah who had been born just 3 days before the attack. The oldest was a retired teacher named William who had come to Theta 9 to watch the stars in peace. They all died together, unknown and forgotten by the universe. Or so they believed. News of the attack reached Earth 2 weeks later. A passing cargo ship had detected the distress signal before it went silent. Captain Maya listened to the final transmission with tears running down her face. She heard screaming. She heard explosions. She heard a mother calling for her children. Then she heard nothing. Sent the recording to Earth Command. Within hours, it had spread across the entire planet. Every human alive heard the screams of Outpost 7. Every human alive saw the images of burning homes and dead children. And something changed in humanity that day. Something ancient. Something terrible. The United Earth Council met in emergency session. The Great Hall was silent as the recording played again. Presidents and prime ministers wept openly. Generals who had fought in a dozen wars sat frozen with shock. When the recording ended, no one spoke for a long time. Finally, Admiral James Stone stood up. He was an old man with white hair and kind eyes. He had spent his life avoiding war, seeking peace, building bridges between species. But now his hands were shaking. His voice was cold as ice. "We tried to be peaceful," he said. "We tried to be friends to every species we met. We shared our technology. We shared our medicine. We shared our food. And this is how the universe repays us." He pressed a button on the table. A hologram appeared showing a massive structure hidden deep inside Earth's moon. It was called the Omega device. Humanity had built it in secret over the past century as a weapon of absolute last resort. It had the power to destroy entire planets. No one had ever imagined it would be used. "They believe we are weak," Stone said. "They believe we are prey. They attacked our children without warning and without mercy. Now they will learn what happens when you wake a sleeping giant." The vote was unanimous. For the first time in human history, the Omega Protocol was activated. The Emperor received word of the human response 3 days later. His advisors told him that Earth had declared total war. They said the humans were mobilizing their entire fleet. The Emperor was not worried. He had studied human military strength. They had only 200 warships compared to his 10 million. It would be a slaughter. What the Emperor did not know was that humans had been hiding their true power. For 200 years, they had pretended to be weak. They had built secret shipyards in asteroid fields. They had developed weapons that other species could not imagine. They had created an army of soldiers who trained from childhood for the war they hoped would never come. The first planet to fall was their military headquarters on Prime. The humans did not send a fleet. They sent a single ship carrying the Omega device. It arrived in orbit without warning and fired once. A beam of pure energy struck the planet's core. Prime cracked like an egg. 7 billion died in an instant. The Emperor received the news and could not believe it. Planets did not simply explode. It was impossible. It must be a trick, a lie, a mistake. He ordered his fleet to attack Earth immediately. His fleet never arrived. Humanity had placed hyperspace mines along every known route to Earth. The Armada jumped into a wall of explosions. 3 million ships were destroyed in the first second. The survivors tried to retreat, but human battleships were waiting for them. Ships that were 10 times larger than anything that had ever built. Ships armed with weapons that cut through shields like paper. The battle lasted 4 hours. Not a single ship escaped. On Earth, Admiral Stone watched the battle from Command Central. There was no joy in his eyes, no celebration, only cold, terrible purpose. When his officers reported victory, he simply nodded and gave the next order. "Target there," he said. "Show them what we showed Prime." There was called a beautiful planet of purple oceans and golden forests. It had been the heart of their empire for 10,000 years. 50 billion lived there. It was their history, their culture, their soul. The Omega device arrived in orbit at dawn. Every on the planet looked up at the sky and saw the small human ship hovering above them. They knew what it was. They knew what was coming. Some prayed. Some screamed. Some simply held their loved ones and waited. But the weapon did not fire. Instead, a message played across every screen on the planet. It was Admiral Stone, his old face filling the sky. "People of," he said, 3,000 of our people died on Outpost 7. Men, women, and children who did nothing wrong except dream of a better life among the stars. Your Emperor killed them without mercy, without warning, without reason." Stone paused. His eyes were wet with tears that he did not try to hide. "We have the power to destroy your world. Every man, woman, and child on your planet could be dead in the next 5 minutes. You know this. You have seen what we did to Prime. You know we are not bluffing." The 50 billion held their breath. "But we are not like your Emperor," Stone continued. "We do not murder innocents. We do not kill children for the crimes of their leaders. You have one chance to prove that your species deserves to survive. Surrender your Emperor. Surrender your war criminals. Give us justice for Outpost 7, and we will let you live." The message ended. Silence fell over. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the people moved. The Emperor sat on his throne surrounded by his guards. He was screaming orders, demanding that his people fight, demanding that they die for his glory. But no one listened anymore. His guards threw down their weapons. His advisors walked away. And when the mob came, they came with chains. 3 hours later, the Emperor was delivered to the human ship in orbit. He was stripped of his crown, his robes, and his pride. He looked at Admiral Stone with hatred in his eyes. "You are monsters," the Emperor spat. "You destroyed an entire planet, billions of lives. How are you any better than me?" Stone looked at the creature who had murdered 3,000 innocent humans and felt nothing but cold satisfaction. "The difference is simple," Stone said. "Prime was a military target. Every being on that planet was a soldier who had sworn to destroy us. We killed warriors, not children. You killed children, not warriors. That is why your empire falls today." The Emperor was taken to Earth to face trial. He was found guilty of crimes against humanity and executed. His empire was dissolved. His military was disbanded. His conquered worlds were freed. But humanity was not finished. In the years that followed, Earth built 1,000 monuments to the dead of Outpost 7. Their names were carved in stone on every human colony. Their story was taught in every school. They became symbols of why humanity would never be weak again. The humans also rebuilt Outpost 7 on Theta 9. They called it Memorial Station. It became a place of remembrance and a warning to every species in the galaxy that humanity would never forget. Humanity would never forgive. And humanity would never, ever let such an attack go unanswered. Word spread across the galaxy about what had happened to the Empire. Species who had once looked at humans as prey now looked at them with fear and respect. The great empires that had conquered millions of worlds suddenly became very interested in peaceful relations with Earth. Admiral Stone died 10 years after the war. His last words were recorded and played at his funeral. "I never wanted to destroy a planet," he said. "I spent my whole life trying to build peace, but when they killed our children, I learned something terrible about myself. I learned what every human learns when you threaten what they love. We are capable of anything, absolute mercy or absolute destruction. The universe will decide which one it receives from us based on how it treats our people." The galaxy listened and remembered. Centuries passed. Humanity spread across the stars, building colonies on 1,000 worlds. They made friends with many species. They traded, they explored, they created wonders that amazed the universe. But they never forgot Outpost 7. And they never stopped building their secret weapons, hidden in the dark places between stars. Because humans had learned the most important lesson of galactic survival, the lesson that every species must learn or die. Peace is wonderful. Peace is precious. Peace is the goal of every civilized being. But peace only lasts when your enemies know the terrible cost of war. And no species in the galaxy would ever forget what humans could do when they were pushed too far. No species would ever make the same mistake they made. No species would ever attack human children again. The universe was a dangerous place full of predators and monsters. But after the fall of the Empire, the most dangerous predators in the cosmos were the small, soft creatures from a little blue planet called Earth. They called themselves humans. They smiled and offered friendship to all who approached in peace. They were kind and generous and full of dreams. But God help anyone who threatened their children. Because humanity's wrath was infinite, and humanity's memory was eternal, and humanity's revenge was the stuff of nightmares that echoed across the galaxy for 1,000 generations. The stars themselves learned to whisper a warning: never wake the sleeping giant, never harm a human child, never give humanity a reason to show the universe what they are truly capable of. Because when humans go to war, worlds burn and empires fall, and nothing in the cosmos can stop them until justice is done. This was the lesson of Outpost 7. This was the legacy of 3,000 innocent souls. This was the truth that every species in the galaxy now understood. Humanity was not prey. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was the most dangerous species ever to reach for the stars. And the universe would never, ever forget it.